Hi, everybody, and welcome. Hello there. Hi. I'm seeing some of you on Instagram Live. Hello. Hi on LinkedIn. Hello on YouTube. This is Billable Hour Burnout, and today we are talking about mastering effective decision making. Let's do this. I love this one because if you're a high achieving woman, you know you need to make a lot of decisions all the time. And you need to do them rapidly, you need to do them quickly, you need to do them effectively. Today, I am talking to you about the cost of indecision and a process to help you make precise decisions in rapid fire time. But first, welcome to the show. My name is Lauren Baptiste, and this is Billable Hour Burnout. If you need helpful tactical advice that actually helps you have the career of your dreams, you are in the right place. If you want to enjoy the career that you've spent decades building, you are in the right place. If you're finding yourself here today, it means you're looking to experience more work-life balance, more ease, more confidence, and you're ready to make it happen without having to quit your job or burn down your life. I'm your Big Four auditor and regulatory tax compliance turned life coach, and you're listening to Billable Hour Burnout. On the show, I share simple tactics and modern strategies to help any woman in accounting, consulting, and law. You ready? Let's do this. Another episode, episode 26 here. Now, I always love starting with a little bit of a personal update. First, I hope you're doing great. I hope that your pre-fall is feeling good. I know this time of year for a lot of us has a lot of back to school energy and finding new routines. So I hope you're finding that and feeling good as you're doing it. This weekend was my husband's birthday, and we had all these plans, but as coaching goes, right? Life is 50-50. Sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't. Sometimes life is all highs, sometimes it's not. So last week I gave you an update that my pup was feeling not so good, and sadly that got worse. I have good news now that I'm on the other side of it, is that she is getting better, but it meant that we canceled my husband's birthday trip. It means that I spent the day in the dog ER. So I know that sometimes we have all these plans and they don't go according to plan. And that's why I love the power of coaching. So it just helps my mind know, okay, this trip will happen at another time. What's most important is getting my dog healthy. What's most important is all these other things, right? And I'm putting it into perspective where sometimes we're like, this was it. We put so much energy into it. We let it take us out. And that's why I'm just so grateful for coaching. It doesn't let me go there anymore. But I missed this one trip, but I have some other fun travel coming up. I'll be in Nashville for iWin's Unlocked conference, and then I'll also be at BotKeeper's AI Unchained conference. That one's going to be in Napa. So I have some beautiful travel coming up, and if you're going, I want to know. I want to know if I'm going to see you there. So let me know. Let's dive into our client success story. I actually posted this today on the feeds because I want to share that my client's performance went from underperforming to exceeding expectations in 6 months. Now, I bring this up because I think a lot of you high achieving women out there are like, that would never happen to me. Or I wonder why she's talking about underperforming because we are always at the top of the top. You were the valedictorian, you were the varsity athlete, you were the summa cum laude, you were always the creme de la creme, the top. But many come to me because they are experiencing a shift, right? They all of a sudden life starts changing and they notice they get their first bad performance review ever. They've noticed that they're having their first trouble in their marriage ever. They're noticing that they're not getting respected at work for the first time ever. But here I'm celebrating that my client went from underperforming to exceeding expectations because of my coaching program, Freedom. She experienced the success so quickly because she started to prioritize essential work over busy work. She started trusting herself and she used the tools in coaching. Like I was talking about in my scenario, she talked about the tools that she's using that she learned from our program to stop spinning in confusion, dread, or overwhelm. And then all of a sudden, her life skyrocketed. So I just love sharing that story. I think it's nice to hear that. One thing to know is that she didn't come just because she had a bad review. She came because that was the tipping point. And sometimes that's what's happening when I meet you, is that you come to me because you're feeling like, all right, now things are at a no return. Like I need to change something because my husband and I are resenting each other and we're about to get divorced, or I have this bad review and I'm about to get fired, or something that's no return. So not only did her success at work start to skyrocket, I started to notice that she exercised more. She spent more quality evenings with her husband. She started traveling to her weekend home far more. Because when you enroll in freedom, you become just so much more. And so I wanted to share her story because you too can have this 180 if you're feeling like you've been stuck in your own, in this like version of yourself that you're not loving. So that's her win. That I wanted to share that. I'm celebrating that online. I'm celebrating that with you because it's worth celebrating. Life can change with coaching. I truly believe anything is possible with a coach and that everyone should have a coach. But let's talk about today's conversation. We're talking about decision making. And indecision is a very expensive thing. I had a client that I was working with. This was a few years back. She was mulling over a new dishwasher for weeks. Weeks. She had a cost of not buying this dishwasher, right? Not only was she losing the time of comparing dishwasher A versus dishwasher B, but she was also washing the dishes morning, noon, and night. She was spinning in indecision and it was affecting her time and her energy. And honestly, for the difference of something as small as a dishwasher, we realized we had to get in front of a process for decision making. So I'm here to ask you, do you hesitate when it comes to making decisions? Do you find yourself when a decision's brought to you, you say, let me think about it and get back to you, right? That's a default for so many women I work with because when we're doing and juggling a million things, it's the easiest, fastest thing to put off, right? So you'll say, even as small as, what do you want for dinner tonight? I don't know, right? I'll tell you a funny solution for this in a short bit. But there's a million decisions we make today. What do I want to wear? What am I going to eat? But then there's the bigger decisions of this engagement letter I'm putting out. And do I have all the services? Am I charging the right amount? Right? Are you struggling with the decision of keeping a client even though they pay you, but they make your life hell, right? Like, are we keeping them? And are you like hesitating on keeping them or firing them? Are you stuck in a decision of staying or going at your job? Indecision is a problem. And here's what it looks like: procrastination. There's the pain of indecision now, of punting that, let me think about it and let you know. And then there's the pain of actually having to decide later, but doing so more removed. And you're also likely feeling more pressured because you have to get back to somebody and rushed. Now, the problem, and I get it, your brain doesn't want to decide because decisions have finality to them. But when you say, let me think about it, what my guess is that you don't have a process to decide in the moment. And that's what I'm going to walk you through today. And when you're burned out, here's the thing too, that I know to be very true, is making a decision feels harder. It's harder to take a risk. It's hard to say yes or no, depending on the decision, because it's likely been a while since it's felt like you've made a good decision. I've talked to some burned out women who came to me and they're like, I'm at this place. I know I need this for myself. I need support, but I hired a PR person who didn't work out. And I hired maybe like an employee that also didn't work out. And they're seeing all of this proof of things that aren't working. So then they're starting to feel stuck. And so my guess is you may be feeling that too if you're hesitating on your decision making. So instead, what you do is you put off the decision, you delay the decision, you hesitate on the decision. And I want to talk through the real cost of indecision. Now, we could say FOMO, fear of missing out. We could say time wasted. We could say inefficiency for starters, right? If I think about that dishwasher situation, definitely time wasted, definitely inefficient. Maybe not fear of missing out, but there was definitely those other ones. But let's go deeper. There is also increased stress and anxiety. Deciding is a stressor. It is. Now we can decide instantly and it can feel like a pinch, or it's like holding a pinch for weeks, months. Like this would hurt. I would likely bruise myself if I held. Now, if you're listening to this, I'm actually pinching my shoulder right now. But if you're watching me, you can see I'm pinching my shoulder. Now, the longer it takes me to make a decision, the longer I feel this endured pain. Now, some of you may say holding a pinch shouldn't hurt, but the longer you do it, the longer it will start to hurt. It will start to bruise. And in the body, we feel that as stress. I want you to think about we're coming into that time of year when Thanksgiving happens and you eat too much food. You don't feel good. There's stress happening in the body. And the same is with that pinch. And the same is with making a decision. When we don't make a decision, we increase the stress and anxiety in our body. And it creates this like lingering mind. It keeps us in ongoing tension. It has us feeling this like undercurrent of anxiety. And so I know that feeling. And so whether it's a Thanksgiving meal that it comes to you, but there is stress every time we hold all of these indecisions, undecided decisions. So, okay, stress and anxiety, time lost, we know this. There's actually an opportunity that you might lose an opportunity if you don't take action. So indecision, have you tried to look for a house in the last 4 years? Maybe 3 years? If you wait, you actually can lose opportunities. Delaying decision making can mean you don't miss or that you miss out on getting a house that you wanted. It could mean not taking up an opportunity of a business proposal that came your way, but you sat on it too long. It can mean not addressing your goals. There's so many things that get lost when we hang in indecision. There's a term, so here's the third one, decision fatigue. The more decisions you delay, the more they pile up. They contribute to being exhausted. It can impair your ability to make both minor decisions, like what do you want to do tonight, to should I invest in XYZ stock, right? It can get in the way. If we think of fatigue and decisions, right? Nobody wants that. It doesn't feel good, but we can notice the effect of it. All right, so indecision, talking about time wasted, increased stress and anxiety, lost opportunities, decision fatigue. I also just want to talk about inefficiency. I know I briefly said that, but when we stall on decisions, it really stalls who we are. It stalls on our growth. It stalls on the leader that we know we can be, that we want to become. Think about this for a second. You're a leader. You're maybe partner level or you're trying to get there and you're on your way there, but you notice you keep hesitating. You keep not making decisions. What's going on, right? All of a sudden, your confidence will start to decrease. The more you hesitate, the more fear will set in. So there's an inefficiency, yes, but there's a greater cost of lost confidence and clarity and ability, and we start to crumble on the inside when we are not making decisions. All right, so now we know the cost of indecision. So I want to teach you a process to make decisions. A process is valuable because what it's going to help you do is understand what's coming at you, what you need to do about it, and how to move through it. Decision fatigue to me feels like bottlenecking. It's like everything piles up and not enough can move through the funnel. It's like if you think of like sand through an hourglass, only a couple of grains of sand can move through where so much sand is stuck. So in that bottlenecking, instead we can have a process and then create so much more grains of sand can come through, or the bottleneck is bigger so that we can get more done. I don't want you to experience decision fatigue anymore. So let's dive into this process. Step one, decide from your gut. 9 times out of 10, you already know. When a decision comes to you, for example, you're looking for a new software developer for your, new software for your company. Let's say you are given a pitch. 9 times out of 10, this is right for me and this isn't right for me. I want you to really feel into that. I know when you're feeling burned out, it's harder to trust your gut, but we have to start somewhere. And that's why there's still 2 other steps to the process. So I want you to feel, okay, this new software person, this new software program, does this feel right for my business? I'm going to say yes. The presentation was good. It felt good. I said I needed this. Okay, so decide. You just did. That's a secret. But because we are high achieving women, we want to make sure we feel good about our decision. So that's what steps 2 and 3 are for. Step 2, review any supportive detail that you need. For example, do you need to check any timing or documentation to support the decision? The idea is to do it with a plan, do it succinctly, and to not get sucked into the weeds. For example, for the dishwasher, it could have been know the specs, know how big the dishwasher needs to be, know what you need it to do. Do you like really always put your pots and pans in there? Then maybe you want one that's really good with pots and pans. Okay, so then make sure it has that. And then, right, we can move to 3. But I want to give you specific considerations because it's one thing to just say, okay, specs, check and move on. Because some of us, when we're dealing with big engagements like this software person that we're hypothetically bringing in, I want you to think about it in these 3 considerations. First is the financial impact. Do you or your team, do you have the budget? If not, right, a lot of you get hung up here and say, well, I didn't have a budget for this, but maybe you didn't know you needed this software until now. How will you make space for it if you were not prepared for it? Because most of us want to stop in this moment and say, I can't afford it. I don't have budget for it. But I want you to think about what adjustments might need to be made to have this software come in. Maybe what is the cost savings by bringing in this software? Maybe you don't need as many employees and you're able to cut down your own personal hours because it saves you time. If you decided you were a yes, you need to create a roadmap to make this part happen because this is where I see most people get hung up is that financial impact. Number 2, get buy-in. So personally, that might mean getting a green light from your spouse. Professionally, that might mean getting a sign-off from leadership. At this point, I want to remind you, you already decided. You decided the software was what I needed. You decided you were a yes, but I want you to really lean into all you're figuring out now is the how you're going to pay for it, how you're going to make that investment. Are you going to put it on a credit card? Are you going to pull from your 401k? Do you have savings for your business, right? I want you to really get specific, but really this part should be easy because you know the process in making it happen and because you have the buy-in, the buy-in. So this is where you say to your partner, this is just to give you a heads up. I'm investing in this software for my business. We're pulling it from this fund. And I'm just letting you know. And I know that you support me. And so this is where I'm going to get your help. And for even the business, right, you give them that proposal or that spec of like, here's what we need. Here's what's going to cost. Here's how we're going to pay for it. Here's the cost savings. I want your buy-in. Can you sign off on this, right? This should be easy since you've already done the pre-work. Okay, so now everybody's on board. And this is where step 3 comes in. Step 3 of the considerations, not step 3. That's confusing. So this is the 3rd consideration, not the 3rd step of the decision-making process. So the 3rd consideration is a personal double check. Now that everybody's on board, is this right? Is this what you really want? This should be even easier. At this point, all of the I's are dotted, all of the T's are crossed, all of the ducks are in a row. So just take a moment to breathe. Is this what I want? Yes, let's go. Let's get that dishwasher. Let's hire that software person or whatever, buy that software. So, okay, step 3 of the process, commit. Commit. This is the part where you trust yourself and you communicate your decision. This is where you say yes to the software person. This is where you buy the dishwasher. This is where you do the thing. So you decide from your gut, you review, you commit. It's that easy. There's 3 steps. But I want to give you a few examples. So here's, let's talk about this one first. Here's a decision that you have to make daily. What do you want to do for dinner? You need to decide this every day for the rest of your life. Now, my recommendation here is to make this as easy as possible. This may sound a little wild, but I've come up with a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday plan of like Monday is soup day, Tuesday is pasta day, right? And I don't want to overthink meals. I just want healthy meals that are good and easy to put together. And so the more I think about what do I want tonight, creates indecision, creates fatigue, creates overwhelm. And then the easy way out is like, I'm just going to do takeout instead. So I'm inviting something different for you. Decide ahead of time. I saw this reel on Instagram that I thought was really funny. It was a husband and a wife in the car, and the wife says, "Where do you want to eat for dinner?" And the husband says, "Guess." And he acts like he's going to surprise her, but actually he has no idea and he doesn't want to think about it. So she replies, I don't know, that taco place. And he goes, "Spot on, you guessed it." And she goes, "Really? Awesome. Decision made," right? It could be as easy as like, where do you want to go? The Italian spot, the Thai spot, the whatever, right? Like you can overthink it or you can create a process, make it easy for yourself. I get that not every decision can be this easy, but this is a decision that you have to deal with every day, and that does create decision fatigue. Let's talk about another decision, a home renovation. You finally book that consultation with the interior designer you've been following on Instagram for 2 years. You and your partner have been thinking about it for a long time, and you're ready to start the project. On the consultation with the interior designer, they lay out the plan and they ask you, are you ready to move forward? Would you like to move forward? You're so excited about the idea of the help, but you realize the cost was way higher than you expected. So you freeze. You hear what they said and you said, let me think about it and get back to you. Now, that's not necessarily a problem, but it's a problem if you don't use a process to make that decision. It's a problem if you just punt it for the sake of punting it. So in your gut, you're a yes. You want this renovation. You've been wanting this for years. Then we go into the considerations. You're a resourceful woman. You figure out how to find money for this renovation. You get input, number 2, from your partner to say, let's go. We want to do this. Here's how we're going to do it. You ready? You feel the difference of asking for permission, saying, oh, can we spend it on this versus here's how we're going to do it. Do you feel that? Amazing. Number 3, right? Everything's a go. Now you sign. Now you commit. Now you take that next step forward. Amazing. I want to give you one more decision. This is a client situation. Now, during the summer, one of my clients, she's a managing director in a public accounting firm, she had a tough situation dropped on her plate. Her firm's technology froze randomly. On the same day, a client was expecting a same-day deliverable. Now, she could have spun in uncertainty, but she decided to make a decision in the unknown. She decided, I'm going to figure it out one step at a time, and I'm going to share her process with you because I know this comes up a lot. It can feel like I have no control, but I want to remind you that you always have control in every step, in every regard, in every situation. So here's what she did when this happened. She called an all-hands meeting with her team to understand the gravity of the matter and figure out, could this be done another way? She spoke with her firm's IT team to understand the restoration time. They expected it to take days, so she knew waiting on the software wasn't an option, right? Micro decision here. She then calculated the cost of waiting versus the cost of doing it manually. Like I mentioned, it couldn't wait days. So she did the cost and she's like, all right, we're going to have to do it manually just based on time. That's what we're going to have to do. And then she communicated it to the client as soon as she could. She explained the circumstance. She told them that it would cost them a day. Meanwhile, had she waited for the software based on the restoration to come back, it could have been almost a week. The client didn't even bat an eye. They're like, totally get it. We'll figure it out. It's okay. She didn't spin in uncertainty. She decided to relinquish control. That's the work that we do together. She used this decision-making process and made one even specific for her situation so that she could decide and move forward. Now, let me ask you this. We've gone through many situations today. Are you sitting on the fence about something? You can actually decide right now by using this process. Decision-making doesn't have to be hard, drawn out, energy draining. It can actually be simple, empowering, easy, confidence building. Because overthinking is creating regret. Overthinking is creating FOMO. Overthinking is then now putting you in indecision. This is the work I do with my clients. I help you cut down on stress by learning how to make sound decisions with ease. You ready? Here's the most fun part. Let's create a winning decision-making strategy just for you. When you book your consultation with me, we'll discover how working together can end overthinking and create more free time to enjoy your life. It's going to be the easiest, best decision you've ever made. Now, this is what happens in my coaching program, Freedom. I told you about my client's success earlier, but I want to take a minute to tell you about Freedom. Freedom is a 6-month-long coaching program. As part of that program, we meet twice a month. In addition to meeting twice a month, there is continued connection points via the Signal app. This is where my clients ask me anything. They want to ask about decision making. They want to ask about a hard conversation. They want to ask me about sleep. I'm here for all of it. It's in that Signal access in the app that we keep things moving, and it's in the calls that we start to uncover the indecision fatigue, right? And all of the things that are holding you back. The program Freedom is made simply for high achieving women like you who want and are ready for success, but are feeling held back because of your circumstances. That ends today. So today I'm inviting you to book a consultation call with me. This is exactly where you're going to get to, where you want to be. The woman who can make decisions quickly, easily, without fatigue. The woman who feels confident in her day-to-day, who's not held back by fear, who has free time at the end of the night to eat dinner and with her family and put her kids to bed. This is what happens when you work with me. I'm absolutely, just based on my work, based on what I've been doing, I'm the best person here to help you solve this problem if you are in accounting, consulting, law, because I lived it, I experienced it, and I moved through it, and I've graduated over 100 women who have experienced it. So this is my offer to you. Step one, jump on my newsletter. If you're not on my newsletter, you absolutely should be. You can go to my website, www.akalowawellness.com/newsletter. Jump on there today. Then book your consultation call. On the website, you can find the link to book your consult, or you could DM me here, DM me on Instagram, DM me wherever you're finding this and say, hey, can you send me the link to the newsletter and a consult? Boom, done. You will be transformed by the end of the week just by taking these 2 actions, just by deciding I'm worth it. Just by deciding now's the time. I'm making one small decision and I'm going to run with it. All right, everybody, you ready to make some big decisions? You now have a 3-step process for how to do it. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you like this, drop a comment and let me know what you think. Come find me on Instagram at the Lauren Baptiste, LinkedIn, Lauren Baptiste, Facebook, Lauren Baptiste Coaching, YouTube, Lauren Baptiste Coaching. But truly, wherever you hang, you can find me. I love doing this. I love hearing what's working for you, what you're learning from it, how you're transforming. It's so good. So keep bringing it week over week over week. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to learn more about Lauren Baptiste, Akaloa Wellness, or my one-on-one coaching program, Freedom, visit my website, akalowawellness.com. All right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your week. See you next week. Bye.